Yo.za. Another big concerts experience.
On 947, this is Eyewitness News.
Good evening, I'm Lerato Hefele. We start with breaking news. The DA Celia Brink has been elected as Tshwane's new executive mayor. Brink was up against Cope's Ofense Mwalusi for the position. 211 councillors participated in the vote. 109 of them voted for Brink, while Mwalusi received 102 votes. In other news, suspended public protector Busisiwe Mkhwebane believes she's facing an impeachment because she dared to investigate complaints against the president. She's been giving evidence before the Section 194 inquiry about her probe into President Cyril Ramaphosa's ANC presidential campaign in 2017. Lindsay Dentlinger was tracking those proceedings.
If you investigate the president and you hold the president to account, definitely you will then face that's why I'm sitting here.
Suspended public protector Busisiwe Mkhwebane says she's facing the wrath of investigating the CR17 presidential campaign. Her suspension, she adds, is directly linked to her starting a probe into the Phala Phala farm saga. Despite evidence leader Nazreen Bauer pointing out that Mkhwebane's suspension falls outside the powers of this committee, Mkhwebane has insisted it has a direct bearing on the operations of this inquiry.
Those are the main causes of me sitting here and now being on suspension because of Phala Phala and the 31 questions.
Her testimony continues. Lindsay Dentlinger, Eyewitness News.
And Rand Water is appealing for patience while waiting for reservoirs to fill up after taps ran dry for close to 3 weeks in several areas across Joburg. While the bulk water supplier says water has been restored to households in Brixton, Hurst Hill and Crosby, many residents still can't flush their toilets, take a shower or wash their dishes. On your weather front, Gauteng will be partly cloudy tomorrow with isolated afternoon thunder showers. Joburg dropping to an overnight low of 13 degrees, peaking at 23. Pretoria 14 and 24. Vereeniging 13 and 24 as well. Lerato Hefele, Eyewitness News.
Eyewitness News on 947. For more, click ewn.co.za.
947.
#MSW. You may begin to feel anxious or excited.
Honest, deliberate, engaging, uncensored.
High dosage administration can cause adverse reactions.
And most importantly, independent in mind.
This is a normal response. Are you ready?
Marawa Sports Worldwide.
If I speak, you have seen, how many years have seen you pray for a fridge which is not working and it started working? If I can command a fridge and it can listen, the anointing I have, if I can command a car that has never moved for 6 months, the engine out and I pray the engine move and the car moves.
Correction Monday, I wish Hugo Bruce having actually a very quick flight from Liberia to Brussels. I think it's time now to let it go, Marawa.
Harry Maguire is a defender. He was tackling everybody and throwing his bodies everywhere that he was seen as the best defender in the world. Manchester United went and bought him. He became the biggest threat at the center of Manchester United's defense, tackling Manchester players and giving assist to opponents. Mr. Speaker, when even the opponents fail to score, Maguire will score for them.
I ran away after the 2-2. I went immediately to the dressing room. I didn't fulfill my media obligations, and I want to apologize for that. But I'm a human being, and
Robert Marawa, live on 947. Vuma FM, Rise FM, and Sowetan Live. #MSW.
It's exactly 4 minutes into the Bafana versus Liberia game, and we'll keep our eyes firmly peeled on that one. Expectations are high. Under 23s bowing out of AFCON, bowing out of the Olympic Games yesterday. So what can Bafana conjure up this evening? You're live at 947, Vuma FM, Rise FM, as well as Sowetan Live. Whatever your comments as well as participation is, do send us your WhatsApp voice notes, 0607080484. Talk about those.
Good evening, Robert. This is Odysseus here in Cape Town. A grouping match indeed in Monrovia. Bafana playing against Liberia. It is a must-win match, and I like to believe that they can do it. I think in the first match it was a matter of managing the game, which they failed to do. But if you want to look at it, they've got the ability, they've got the players. It's all about the mindset, and if they apply their mindset so well and control the game, difficult it's going to be. But if they go out there, stamp their authority and control the tempo of the game and score first. They've got players who can keep the ball. So the key is the mental aspect of the game. And if those youngsters do that, I think they can get a result. I've got this confidence that Bafana can get a result, and confident that Pesitao can redeem himself with a miss which he had in the last match. So I think it's a Bafana win for me.
Do you agree with Audacious in Cape Town, saying that Bafana will win? In fact, when I look back in history on this day, on the 28th of March 2021, I'm a little bit frightened to tell you what happened on this day. So I'll park that until closer 7 o'clock. But if you think you know, you can share it with me. But right now, though, sure, we are so blessed these days. We are so blessed as far as the sporting world is concerned to have some of the best talent walk through these doors. Come sit with us, come and share moments with us, and it is no different. You can simply go onto the YouTube channel. You can watch and listen because it is that exciting. I'm looking forward to this conversation. Very passionate young woman, strives to represent her country with impeccable hockey skills. It's also quite big as far as youth development and empowering other young women in sport is concerned. Without a shadow of a doubt, the golden girl of South Africa's national field hockey. Recently becoming the first female Red Bull athlete in South Africa. Again, making history. That is big. That is massive. Becoming the first female Red Bull athlete in South Africa. No mean feat. Born and bred in Pretoria. Had a birthday just the other day, actually. Started playing hockey at the tender age of 6 years old. In 2019, enrolled at the University of Pretoria. She'll tell us about those achievements as well. I mean, how can you 2020 Summer Olympic Games be there? Incredible stuff indeed. Onthatile Zulu. Ndabazi Tumakeba sitting right in front of me. Good evening, welcome to the show.
Good evening, thank you so much, Robert.
How are you feeling? I got to congratulate you for what you're wearing on your head, which is being part of Red Bull. I mean, that is magic.
It's amazing. Like the past few months have been very overwhelming. But my Red Bull family has really supported me throughout the past 2 months, and it's been crazy. And I'm very excited to see where this partnership goes. They're here for the journey with me, and not just there to support me short term. It's a long term relationship.
When you say it's been crazy, what are your expectations though? You can say, you're part of the family, but once you've digested what this means, what are you expecting?
I think for me, I won't have any stresses regarding any external factors. I can focus more on my hockey. Hockey is an underfunded sport in South Africa, unfortunately. So a lot of the times we have to fund ourselves to get to tournaments as well. So for me, I get to focus on my sport and just try to elevate my performance over the years, and hopefully train leading up to the Paris 2024 Olympics next year.
And it is a great deal in terms of sacrifice, because you represent your country and people immediately think, pay, and it's not the case. There's just a lot of what you put in because you're representing your country.
Exactly. So I'm really, really lucky to, have the financial support from my parents and Red Bull. And I'm a recent graduate from the University of Pretoria with a BCom Business Management. So that's also really exciting. Outside of hockey, I also need to try find a job hopefully in the next few years. It's my passion. I love it. But it's not professional in South Africa, unfortunately.
All right. When you get to the job issue, what is it that you would want to do? I mean, what is your passion outside of sport, outside of hockey?
I think empowering younger girls as well, whether that being in my sport or maybe in the corporate world, I'm not 100% sure yet. But just trying to reach out and give back to the community as well, and to inspire people to, to also try reach to be where I am now.
And where you are is already unattainable for most athletes. And I say that because what you've achieved in such a short space of time is, in my books, ridiculous. It is, because what, you're 23 now?
Yeah, I'm 23 years.
Yeah, happy belated birthday.
Thank
You're
you
also
so
March
much.
baby,
Thank
so yeah.
you.
Welcome to the family. And being in the Olympic Games, for starters, and the trials and tribulations of the COVID pandemic at the time, obviously didn't have you enjoy the Olympics as much as you would have as a spectacle. But you're there, you were locked up, you're in the athletes' village and so on. But still, the Olympic Games happened and you were part and parcel of it. What did that mean to you?
Sure. It meant everything, you know. As an athlete, that's probably one of the most prestigious tournaments that you want to, you know, participate in. And I didn't know it would come so soon. You know, I was only 19 years old, and I had made my debut in 2019 only. So you can imagine, like, I was overwhelmed. I was so happy. I didn't know how to feel. I had mixed emotions. But at the same time, it was kind of sad to, you know, arrive on that pitch and not see any spectators there. But regardless, I was so, you know, honored and privileged to represent my country. And every time I step out on that pitch, I'm like, I'm not only representing myself, but I'm representing, you know, the people who've supported me thus far, you know, the people who drove me to hockey trainings, you know, my mother, my father, my family. So it's been amazing. And I hope I can inspire younger girls to, you know, pick up a stick and start playing hockey, because, you know, it's not such a popular sport in South Africa. And if I'm the example, then why not?
Of course, you're the example. I think right now at 23, like we say, we're going to go through a whole lot of what you have achieved. Are you like the emotional type when you're all lining up there, you're singing the national anthem? Remember, our anthem is quite long. It's probably one of the longest anthems that there is out there. So you have a lot of time to well in the emotions.
Yes.
What goes through your mind when that's happening?
For me, I'm like, you know what, I mustn't, you know, take any game lightly. You know, I must be grateful and, you know, always, you know, sing the national anthem with passion, because not a lot of people get this opportunity to represent their country, you know. And every time I step up on the field, I'm like, no ways, I'm singing this anthem with so much passion, because I worked so hard to be here. You know, I deserve to be here, and I hope that I can play to the best of my ability and make people proud.
And you said it twice already that hockey is not a very popular sport in South Africa.
Yes.
And you 100% correct.
Yes.
But it's also one of the most played sports as well, when you look at the consistency of participation, because at Commonwealth Games level.
Yes.
And I remember tracking players like Marsha Maresha back then. You know, she was one of the most inspirational hockey players I've seen, you know, within the women's side of the game. And seeing what she gave to the sport really inspired not only other hockey players, inspired me to learn more about how the journey started for her.
Exactly.
So for you, Dabizit, how did it start?
For me, it started in 2006. I had to sign up for sports curriculums at school, and I told my mom that I wanted to play hockey, I wanted to do athletics and swim as well. 2016 came. That's when I first made my SA team, but it was more of like a B and C side. It wasn't the A side. I then moved to Cornwall Hill College for high school, which gave me more opportunities in terms of my hockey and performance.
Would you say that improved you?
I definitely think so, yeah. The school that I was at before wasn't such a big hockey school. Yeah. So once I moved to Cornwall Hill College, I got more opportunities. You know, I was making Northern Gauteng sides. And then I eventually, you know, made the SAA side. And that's when I first realized, oh my word, I'm actually not that bad, you know. I'm actually not that bad. And to come from a school that really isn't big on hockey and still try to excel, I loved the challenge, you know, to become better, be better, and just enjoy it overall.
And enjoy it you have, because this journey has kind of Has it met your major expectations overall? You know, when you talk about expectations and where you wanted to be at the age of 23, do you think you have almost accelerated? I don't know, use Formula One terminology now because you're wearing that cap, but it almost seems to have gone lightning speed.
Yes, I think the best choice I made is going to the University of Pretoria. And the coach that I had there knew me already. from my high school years. So he knew how I played, he knew what I needed to develop. And I think individually I was able to focus on my performance and try to see, okay, what are my weaknesses? What are my strengths? What do I need to work on? And in 2019, that led to me, making my debut.
Yeah.
And funny enough, the story that I have of my debut. So I was actually in a lecture the one day and I received a call. It was a private number. I had no clue who called me. And it happened to be the head coach of the SA women's side. And he called me asking if I was available to fill in for someone who was unavailable for the African qualifiers for Tokyo. So I was like, I'm not missing this opportunity. This is amazing. This is crazy. Like, what? Yeah. Like, you don't get a call every day because usually to make an SA setup, you need to go through trials. You play interprovincial tournaments. So he had called me. And ever since then, I was like, no, I'm going to work so hard to make sure that I, stay in this team. I think this is where I'm meant to be. And yeah, I love it. It's not easy at all. It's very, very challenging. Mentally, physically, there's a whole lot of aspects that come with hockey, but I'm just grateful to be where I am now.
But when you get to camp though, because that's a different proposition altogether.
Yes.
So from phone call to getting to camp to seeing the people around you.
Exactly.
What's the difference, and are they welcoming? Because as much as they have to welcome you, they also see you as competition.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So when I initially got there, they were very, very supportive. Obviously, as a debutant, you're so nervous. Yeah. It's your first game. Your first touches aren't going to be great, But they were very supportive and they really backed me. And you know what? If you have 10 other people on the field backing you, you're definitely going to feel confident and play to the best of your ability. Yeah. So they were very welcoming and it's just been amazing ever since. And our culture is growing every single year. So I'm very, very excited to see how this year pans out.
Now, when the year develops and you talked about the best decision that you've made is going to the institution that you went to. And I know that they're very, very big on high performance. They're very big on churning out Olympians that come back and bring us the kind of medals that we so desire in this country that we don't get sometimes. So I'm sure you'd have seen a lot of big names, track and field athletes definitely. In and around there.
Yes.
Was that added inspiration for you?
So one of the things that was the drastic change was me gymming and conditioning. In high school,
doing that before.
In high school I never used to gym or conditioning or anything. So I got to varsity and they were like, gym twice a week, conditioning 3 times a week, and then hockey practice 2 times a week, and then we play games on the weekend and competitions. So it was very overwhelming. It was a huge jump for me, but it was so cool to just see the difference in putting in your conditioning time, your gym time. It makes a difference to your game. It makes a difference to your performance. Yeah. So they had a high performance center where we as a team gymmed, and a lot of the times I would see really big names like Akani Simbini. He gymmed there quite a lot. We've had a few chats as well, which is so cool because people are able to inspire you in the gym as well. You're like, okay, I'm coming back to the gym just to talk to him.
Sure.
And he's such a friendly guy, always willing to talk, asking when the next competition is. As much as athletics is such a big thing in SA, he was also interested in finding out, okay, when's your next game? When are you playing? That's awesome. good luck, So stuff like that is just so inspiring to me and many other of my teammates.
I mean, he's naturally a very supportive person. And I mean, it's by no mistake that you see him being nominated again for the SA Sports Awards over the weekend. And you see him on the track when it's Olympic Games. And anybody that's going to be lining up against the Usain Bolt is somebody that you can look at. I know Caster Semenya spent a lot of her time as well also practicing over there. Onthatile Zulu is my guest here tonight. It is Marawa Sports Worldwide. Any questions? You want to participate? Ask her what... Maybe you've seen her out there. I mean, she's been great. Remarkable athlete. 011-883-8947. Or you can send us a WhatsApp voice note after the break. We'll continue chatting to her. And remember, at about 22 the hour, we're going to go live to Germany. Mario Leo will break down a lot of stories that have been coming through with regards to German football. Bayern Munich, Tottenham Hotspur. Where will Nagelsmann be going? I see there's somebody that scored. We'll tell you all about that after this.
Marawa Sports Worldwide Live.
In 3, 2, 1.
On 947, Vuma FM, Rise FM, and Soweto Live.
#MSW.
DCI John Luther. You're a disgrace to the department. Your reckless, violent, and obsessive ways are the reason you're behind bars. Now you have a chance to clear your name. Are you finally ready to talk, Luther? Luther!
The wait is finally over. Idris Elba returns as London's most infamous detective in the most anticipated action-packed film of the year, Luther, the Fallen Son, streaming 10th of March exclusively on Netflix.
Plug, play, and connect today with this red-hot deal from Vodacom. This month, get the Alcatel HH72 home router on a home internet deal with 10 megabit per second download speed for only 349 Rand per month over 36 months and save 1,800 Rand. Plus, you get a free Volcano Mini UPS. So even when load shedding hits, you'll stay connected. Miss it, miss out. T's and C's apply. Further together, Vodacom.
Do you with the revamped Suzuki Espresso, now with exciting new features. Do cool tech with a new generation touchscreen that connects you to Apple CarPlay and Android Auto. Do class-leading safety, which adds ESP and ISOFIX to the already impressive ABS, EBD, and dual front airbags. Do fuel efficiency with engine auto stop-start technology. Do you in the Suzuki Espresso from only 162,900. Contact your nearest Suzuki dealer to book a test drive now. T's and C's apply.
Woolworths W Rewards members spend 350 Rand or more on kids fashion and unlock a chance to play and win guaranteed prizes. Apple MacBooks, watches, Nespresso coffee machines, and up to 50,000 Rand in cash and more. Now's the best time to shop younger girls' leggings at just 170 Rand each when you buy any two. Woolworths, the difference. T's and C's apply.
Sage gives businesses like Brian Habanas access to the right insights at the right time, reducing complexity and enabling compliance.
The quicker you can make a decision by the information through which you receive that, the quicker that decision making comes.
Become a Sage customer like Brian and set up your business for success. Visit tax.sage.co.za today. Sage, helping business flow.
We bring you great hits and exciting entertainment.
And our presenters enjoy doing it.
But we also have to follow the rules set out by the Broadcasting Complaints Commission's Code of Conduct.
In order to give you balanced programming, fair comment, and accurate news.
If for some reason you feel that we're not following this code,
we want to know about it.
So please contact us on comments@947.co.za.
If you're still not satisfied, you can direct your complaint in writing to the Broadcasting Complaints Commission.
PO Box 412365, Craig Hall, 2024. For more, visit bccsa.co.za.
Previously on Marawa Sports Worldwide.
Onthatile continued this past weekend. She landed the SA Sports Star of the Year at the annual SA Sports Awards on Saturday night. Madam Jamini, when you have a sensation like Matthew Sates, as well as the golf star Ashley Buhai being nominated alongside you, what did that make you feel?
You know, I feel so special. These two are great athletes. You know, they represent the country with pride. They are winners in my eyes.
But what do you think is happening in your life?
You've won goalkeeper of the tournament for Mamelodi Sundowns in the CAF Champions League. You've won goalkeeper of the tournament, the African Women Cup of Nations. You were named 47 by goal. I kept encouraging myself with that. I was like, that's what's happening in your life.
#MSW. #MSW.
A lot on the go this evening at the Wanderers. We'll keep an eye on the cricket. Also in Monrovia and Liberia, we got Bafana playing against Liberia. 24 minutes played in that game. Lepasa scoring a goal for the national team. Bafana 1-0 up. They need to win. That's the bottom line. Permutations aside, that is the loud and simple message. They got to win the game or else no AFCON for them. Looking at Twitter, though, the hockey game is the most underrated sport on our shows, despite much excitement and interest. And also people like Zulu is testament to the hunger all round. The Red Bull have paved the way to recognize women's excellence in the game of hockey. That's a tweet coming through from Wandile Mtana. Thank you so much indeed. Listening very, very carefully on the show live at 947 of Vuma FM, Rise FM, and on Sowetan Live. Send us your WhatsApp voice notes, or else you can participate. Ask or comment 011 8838 947 011 8838 947. West Indies Proteas. Maybe you're there, you're listening to the show from there. Do give us an update as well. We're following and we're tracking here in studio. Onthatile Zulu, our one and only Red Bull star, is here in studio, representing a country in hockey and having media training today. I mean, how's that for irony?
Oh, it was amazing.
How did that go?
No, it went really well. It was very informative. You know, a lot of us as athletes, you know, go through interviews throughout our whole career, but we never really get any media training.
Yeah.
You know, we're just expected to get going with it and wing it. So today I got a lot of information that's very helpful and will probably help me in the next few years.
Is it helping you right now?
Definitely.
How so?
I'm able to communicate with you and be relaxed, you know, so yeah.
No, but you've always been chilled. I mean, I saw the handover, you know, the video clip with the KG when he was handing the cap over to you. And yes, obvious emotions were there, but it's just how you held it together, how you were able then to articulate what you wanted to articulate because you were taken by surprise at this event. You know, so that already signaled to all of us that there's a lot of internal media training that you didn't know you had.
Yeah.
Up until now when they give you the formal stuff.
Yeah, I was so starstruck that day. I had no clue that I was getting my Red Bull cap handover that day. Because initially we were playing a test series against India. So the SA women were playing a test series against India in Cape Town. And I think I had like 2 days off and the cricket was happening. So I messaged one of the people from the Red Bull team and I was like, listen, my friends and I are like very keen to go watch some cricket. Like, do you have any free tickets for us? Because I know that, you know, in the past they've provided me with like free tickets to events, which is pretty cool.
Nice.
So he messaged me back and he was like, yep, we've got you sorted. You know, you're going to be staying at a suite. It'll be awesome. Come through with your friends and you can chill. Got there, you know, we had a few chats. Towards the end of the game, you know, my athlete manager started calling me to the side and asking for, you know, I was keen to chat to Kahiso Rabada after the game, you know, just asking a few questions about how the game went, you know, nothing too major. And then Dane over there is just going to take a few videos and photos. Is that fine? I was like, that's perfectly fine. So I got to experience that with my friends as well. So we initially went downstairs. And all of a sudden he was like, I heard you're a good soccer player. I was like, I'm not a soccer player, but I'm a hockey player. He's like, oh, sorry, I meant hockey player. And he was basically telling me like, he's heard a lot about me and that I'm a good player. And he asked if I liked his cap, and I was like, you know, that's my goal. You know, I'd love to become a Red Bull athlete one day. That's my goal, to get that cap. And in that moment, I had no clue that I was getting my cap. He turned around, took out a cap, and he was like, this is yours. And I was like, oh my gosh, this is so crazy. I had no clue. And it was extra special because he's also a Red Bull athlete. So it was from like Red Bull athlete to Red Bull athlete. I was able to receive that cap, and he's a really busy guy. So for me to have that opportunity was just amazing, and on video, like, it's just crazy.
But also when you look at that ranking of a KG and you look at how many South Africans, let me say, are not Red Bull athletes. So there's just a few. There's a handful.
Yes. I think there's like 800 worldwide, which is crazy if you think about it. And I think, and I'm part of that. And in South Africa, I'm the only woman, which is even crazier.
The first, let's celebrate the fact that you're the first.
The first Red Bull athlete who's a woman. So it's pretty cool because, funny enough, after my whole Red Bull cap handover, I went on the internet to search all the Red Bull athletes, and it was literally all men. And a lot of them did like extreme sports like diving and surfing and like BMX, all of these extreme sports. And I'm like, okay, I'm like, I'm clearly the odd one out, but it's amazing. It's such good exposure for, you know, hockey and women in sport in general. So I'm glad I'm in the position that I'm in.
Getting a couple of messages coming through our WhatsApp line. We got a message here says, hi Robin Tati, my daughter is extremely passionate about hockey and dreams of playing in the Olympics one day. What advice can Tati give to young girls under 16 that could help them improve their game and also their skills and maybe get within an inch of being at your level?
Yeah, I think staying consistent with your practices, because a lot of the times people think hockey is really easy, but if you stop practicing for maybe like 2 weeks, you get very, very rusty. So I think practicing at least 3 times a week on the field and just trying to get a little bit of more gym and conditioning in, because I'm thinking to myself now, if I had started conditioning and gymming when I was in high school, like where would I be in terms of that? Not to say that I'm unfit right now, but
so
I think I'm pretty fit. So you can imagine if I had already started when I was in high school.
Crazy.
So investing more in like gymming in high school.
Conditioning is what it is.
Just the conditioning, I think that's very vital. Like I think that's something that's neglected a lot in schools. Only certain schools are able to have gyms, which is understandable. But like the conditioning side of things really helps.
Talk about KG. I know the screen's behind me, but I can tell you though, fourth over, the very same KG, pops into bowl. His second ball and third ball removes 2 batters consecutively. Sure. I mean,
that's very impressive.
And at that stage, the score was 61 for 2, 6 overs. So that is, again, like we keep updating everybody around the world, the caliber of class that you are now in. So it's 67. I'm sure that's a 6 that's popping through. But you get the idea. I mean, that's the beauty of live radio as we have it right now.
No, it's very inspiring as well to me. Like
that's your camp man right there.
Literally.
And he's delivering at all costs, as he usually does. No pressure on you. I mean, you've represented the country at the Junior World Cup.
Yes.
You've done the Tokyo Olympic Games, the Women's World Cup, as well as Commonwealth Games. And that's why I said to you earlier on that just the sum total of what I've mentioned now, a lot of people, when they retire from whatever sport that they participate in, don't get anywhere near Commonwealth Games or Olympic Games or Junior World Cups or anything.
Yeah.
Then the drive becomes what for you? To, see more Olympic Games.
Yes.
Is to do what?
I think for me is just growing and developing my skills. I don't think I'm the best player. So there's always room for growth and development. I want to become the best player, definitely. But with that being said, I also want to compete internationally. You're looking at South African hockey, which is an amateur sport, and when we go play against these European countries, we're always the underdog. We're always looked up, down upon. So for me, it's just trying to be better, not only for myself but for South Africa and for my team, so that we can hopefully one day podium.
What would you say has been the biggest obstacle in you realizing your journey, your goals, or has it been pretty much going according to a plan that you have?
I think the curveballs, I've been excluded in certain teams that I didn't understand why. But, my faith and, the support that my family has given me, especially my mom, she gives me great advice, especially when things don't go my way. I've been excluded from teams and I've literally had emotional breakdowns, but you just have to dust it off and get back up and just try get that internal motivation to go again.
But who comes into that space though? You can be a tough girl, yes, but then who steps into that role to say, you have been disappointed, you are disappointed, you're feeling the hurt, you've been left out of a team, you don't understand the reasons why, no one's given you the reasons why. So who steps into that role to console, motivate, so that you don't look at it negatively and you don't give up?
Definitely my mom. Yeah, she's like my pillar.
She's the one.
No, literally. She tells me, everything happens for a reason, and if this is God's plan for you, you never know, what he has in store for you. It could be even bigger, which is so crazy because so many crazy things have happened to me over the past few months. And I honestly am so grateful for this opportunity. But with that being said, I also had peers around me who supported me and, always, motivated me and gave me that vuma to go again. They believed that I was, the best and that I should be included in certain teams. But yeah, there's other reasons why I wasn't, and I'm here today, so it's pretty cool.
But you dealt with them, though.
Yes, I've dealt with them.
But did they have anything to do with your ability?
I think so, yes. So there's certain things that coaches want in their team, and if you don't have a certain skill set, you could be excluded. For what reason, you don't know, but you still need to keep going regardless.
Crazy.
Yeah.
Every time we talk positive things, negative things happen. Liberia have just scored. It's like, what? We'll keep our faith on the cricketers at the Wanderers. 82 for 2 is what it stands like. The captain is converted for Liberia. Whew. You see what it means to represent your country. You guys keep us on our toes, man. Such a rare day today. We got a hockey in studio, football in Liberia, cricket down the road here at the Wanderers. All national team participation. Onthatile Zulu is my guest. Remember her name because a lot of positive, good things.
Good evening, Mr. Marawa. Good evening to the shareholders. And good evening to your guest, Onthatile Zulu, there in studio. What a lovely story your guest is telling about the sport. I got to be introduced to the sport. Not that I've not been following it, I have been following it, but ever since my daughter started playing hockey in school, then that's when I drum up the interest towards the sport. But she lives in the northern part of KZN in the place called Dundee, and I'm in Durban. And there are less opportunities for her to explore the sport as opposed to where I am. So would you say, does demographics play a role into a child's development towards playing the sport? Olan Machola, Emma Pepetin.
Olani, thank you so much. You got like 20 seconds to wrap that question up.
Oh, wow, that's a really good question. And the crazy thing is that we need more investments in hockey. You know, if there's more investments in hockey, then, more people get the opportunity to play it, and that's our end goal, to get almost, everyone who's inspired by me to pick up a stick and start playing hockey. But the unfortunate thing is that there's not a lot of money in hockey. It's underfunded, so people don't get the opportunity to even try playing or expressing themselves, which is the sad reality. So hopefully one day I can, have an academy that can maybe do like a world tour or
Absolutely.
throughout South Africa and just go introduce the sport of hockey to people who don't even know about it or have never heard of it.
Was its exposure at the end of the day?
Exactly. To also try to develop young girls or young men who really want to play it but don't have the opportunity or the equipment or the money to do so. So we'll see how that goes, but that's definitely something I'd love to do because of the position that I'm in. I feel like there's more to me than just playing hockey. It's also giving back to the community as well, which I find is a very vital point.
Charitable it is. Onthatile Zulu, thank you so much, man, for popping in. I wish you everything of the best. I wish you much success, more Olympic Games, more medals, more goals, more everything that you wish for yourself. What an awesome pleasure to meet you.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much for having me.
Well, one of the media gurus of one of the top clubs in South Africa says that she is so compelling. The media training enhanced what she already has. Now I'm parked on the side of the road listening and going onto YouTube to see her as well. So thank you so much. I won't mention your name. I know you didn't give me permission to. Onthatile, thank you so much indeed.
Thank you.
Stick around. We'll tell you more also about what is happening in cricket as well as in football.
Marawa Sports Worldwide Live.
In 3, 2, 1.
On 947, Vuma FM, Rise FM, and Soweto Live.
#MSW. This tiered pricing, it leaves you in tears.
Shame. Why stay? I switched my salary and debit orders to Capitec. And Mina, I get rewarded with cash back on the 10th of every month.
You lekker. 2 paydays for you, unlike my bank.
Oh, I'm living my best life with South Africa's best digital bank. Here's the secret. You can switch your debit orders on WhatsApp.
Really?
It's quick and easy.
Wow.
Switch and live better with Capitec.
We've all heard of injury time, added time, and extra time, but poor Chris has hit extra time. While his girlfriend tries on everything in the store, he's been stuck outside the change rooms.
But look, he's checking Betway Bulb.
With Betway Bulb, he's got access to the stats he'll need to place his bet on tonight's game, all right on his phone. There's no better way to burn down the clock.
Another feature, another gem. Halala!
It helps to be switched on with Betway Bulb.
Licensed and regulated by the Western Cape Gambling and Racing Board. No persons under the age of 18 years are permitted to gamble. For gambling counseling, call SARGF on 0800 006 008 or WhatsApp 076 675 0710.
Ever looked into the eye of your loved one and wanted to really mean it when you sing, I can show you the world? Well, now's your chance. Thanks to TravelStart and MasterCard, you can enjoy a world of affordable flights with up to 30% off your trip. That's every time you book on TravelStart. It's love at first flight.
Deal or No Deal is the game show everyone is talking about. If you're lucky enough to take the Deal or No Deal stage with me, Katlego, you'll get a chance to win up to 250,000 Rand in cash. Watch me play Deal or No Deal on SABC 1 at 7:30 p.m. and on SABC 3 at 5:30 every weekday. To enter, SMS the word PLAY to 43066. Standard SMS rates apply. Deal or No Deal is sponsored by LottoStar.
LottoStar is licensed by the Mpumalanga Economic Regulator. No under 18s. National Responsible Gambling Program. 0800 006 008. T's and C's apply. All games are fixed odds betting events.
Previously on Marawa Sports Worldwide.
Is he finally ready to fulfill what many thought was his destiny? It looks that way, though, as far as I'm concerned. Being named South Africa's new permanent T20I captain, completed the highest successful chase in T20 cricket. I don't even know if Aiden Markram has recovered since then.
Yeah, it was a special day. So for us to be involved in a game like that, I think obviously the cherry on top was to get the win, but I think both teams appreciated the quality of cricket that was on display. It was an entertaining game, which is what people come out to see.
Do we still need to fill some form of ICC trophy in the cabinet?
Certainly on our plans, and the guys are pretty much desperate for it, so hopefully that can be enough for us to bring a trophy back for the people of South Africa.
#MSW. #MSW.
Three different teams in Kosovo. Oh, Jabos managed to sneak it under the body of Ronwin Williams. They looked to have made the save initially, but William Jabor moves level with former national team coach James Dever.
Yeah, that's the situation as it stands. Like we promised you, going to be updating you with what's happening on the international front. It's Liberia 1, South Africa 1. It's a minute to go before the half-time. 101 for 3. That's what's cooking at the Wanderers. Taking a lot of your reaction as well. Sure. I suppose it's a beautiful evening, though. Depending on how the national teams are doing and performing. But as it stands right now, it's a no-go for Bafana Bafana. They need to come back in that second half and score a goal and win the game. They cannot afford to draw. Talk about the international break coming to an end. And over the next couple of days as well, players are going to be filtering back to their, as opposed to the Hotspur way to resume training at Tottenham under a different coach here. Spurs parted ways with Antonio Conte. You remember the Italian? He slammed his players as being selfish after that 3-3 draw with Southampton. So he was there for 16 months in charge following the extraordinary run that he had. But the big question now is who's going to be the new sheriff in charge? Spurs kind of talking about Julian Nagelsmann following his sacking at Bayern Munich. So he's already got his replacement. So Bayern have been very quick. And that's how teams do business. Start of the international week, you do the firing, give the coach time to acclimatize. By the time international break is over, the coach has settled down with the team. So that's not what Tottenham Hotspur have done. Maybe they're not going to hire a coach this season. Maybe it's something for the new season. But Thomas Tuchel is at Bayern. So kind of paving the way for Spurs chairman David Levy to try and court the manager that he has admired for some time. It seems that the 35-year-old was on Levy's radar when they sacked Mauricio Pochettino, also replacing him with Jose Mourinho back in 2019 even. But he was unsuccessful. Replacement for Mourinho with the German in 2021. Mario Leo, now the founder of Ad Result Sports, coming through live from Germany. Mario, thank you so much for your time. Good evening and welcome to Marawa Sports Worldwide. It's been a bizarre twist of events, hasn't it, Mario? I couldn't understand why Nagelsmann firstly was fired at Bayern, but it was very, very quick, the turnover, Thomas Tuchel coming through. Just tell us what the dynamics are in terms of that decision.
Good evening, Robert, and it's a great honor and great pleasure to be on Marawa Sports Worldwide this evening. Yeah, after Bayern, there was a big surprise, and the surprise got even bigger because it was leaked or initiated by an international journalist called Fabrizio Romano, who sort of tweeted that Julian Nagelsmann's job is under threat on last Thursday night. And Julian Nagelsmann himself, as he claimed, obviously been on a skiing vacation with his girlfriend, heard about his sacking and everything only about on media. And as the story, or as Thursday evening kind of continued, it was very clear that obviously that his time at Bayern Munich came to an end or comes to an end. and that his replacement will be Thomas Tuchel, because there have been, tweaks and leaks. And as you know, as a journalist and as a great journalist worldwide, it's all about the network. It's all about putting small bits and pieces together, and suddenly things happen. Big surprise. And coincidentally, because of the availability of Thomas Tuchel, Bayern board of directors being a huge fan of Thomas Tuchel, all-time admirer, but you can see that everything now, 72 hours later, it's not as clear. It's not as easy a decision as it has been from the player side, from the board of directors side, especially from the fan side, and from the media side as well. So it's going to be a tough upcoming campaign for Thomas Tuchel at Bayern.
Somebody said it was just an Oliver Kahn decision.
I would partially agree. I think Hasan Salihamidzic has a big say as well, being obviously that contradictive, because Bayern Munich has always been on the board of directors kind of a separated team. Uli Hoeneß, like the old kind of director and president of Bayern, versus Karl-Heinz Rummenigge. They don't like each other personally. They did everything in favor of FC Bayern. So they argued a lot. They fighted a lot with each other, against each other internally, and nothing went out. And the new Bayern with Oliver Kahn and Hasan Salihamidzic, it's like a public fight, where things are not as clear, where Bayern is kind of really divided in many places, and it doesn't look consistent. It doesn't look holistic. It doesn't look well planned, and definitely it doesn't look very communicated.
Because the confusion again, Mario, would come in where people say, yes, it's a results-driven business, football, but then Bayern, were they in a threat of even dropping further than the second place standing where they are? They don't like Dortmund. They arch rivals. And as fate would have it, that their next big game is going to be against them. And we know where Thomas Tuchel was and the history and everything else. But from where we are, let's deal about the results and where they sit on the log. Was there discontent within the camp? Was there some sort of player takeover within the change room? What were they dynamics that we're not aware of?
Yeah, I think the players, I mean, we heard it from Leon Goretzka after the German national team victory versus Peru on Saturday night. And then we heard it from Joshua Kimmich on Sunday morning in the TV. There was no player uproar. The players admired, respected Julian Nagelsmann. So it didn't come from the player camp. Of course, as you know, Robert, I mean, there's always players who don't play regularly who are disappointed. But they've been not really in power or being around. I mean, obviously, one to name is Manuel Neuer, who sort of got a little bit dethroned by Julian Nagelsmann as his goalkeeping coach was fired. His long-term goalkeeping coach, Toni Tapalovic, he was replaced by Julian Nagelsmann with some of his sort of camp goalkeeping coach. So there's always this internal power play of Bayern, who is in favor, who's getting more influence. And the controversy really started, where the picture doesn't come clearly together is when Herbert Heiner, who is the current president of FC Bayern, stated in the media that Julian Nagelsmann is a long-term project, it's a 5-term project. The results are secondary. We obviously observe the inconsistency in the results. We dropped points. Our 10-point cushion versus Dortmund has been decreased. But our ultimate goal is we want 3 titles. And come last Thursday evening, Bayern was still in content for 3 titles. Julian Nagelsmann won 8 out of 8 Champions League matches. Very, very controlled victory over PSG. I mean, PSG had over the 180 minutes, no real goal chance, no real opportunity, and Bayern was in the driving seat and in absolute command. So that all these signs, the German Cup, Bayern has been dominating every single game in the Cup this season. So it's just that inconsistency in the Bundesliga which sort of led initially to the board of directors being frustrated. And I think when it comes together, obviously, that Thomas Tuchel, again, a person which Oliver Kahn and Hasan Salihamidzic admire a lot, his availability, possibly a little message of Thomas Tuchel in conversations with him, not about the job, but just in conversations, because obviously people talk behind the scenes. In conversations, he probably mentioned, I've got an opportunity, an offer from a big club in Europe. And then obviously that kind of unsettled the board of directors at FC Bayern, continuing the conversations with Thomas Tuchel, sort of putting one and one together, building a conspiracy theory against Julian Nagelsmann and replacing Julian Nagelsmann through the media pressure with Thomas Tuchel. That's, for me, the way it sort of bounced together. So it was a series of unplanned incidents which then came into a holistic plan, because, you see, Bayern didn't tweet anything from Thursday evening until Friday noon. Yeah, Bayern has never, ever been silent on Twitter. So you could see that even the media department was like in control of the board of directors, not leaking any message, not saying anything, while all the journalists, all the media was all over Bayern, all over Thomas Tuchel, or all involving Thomas Tuchel, that ultimately the face loss would have been significant if Bayern said, no, we stick with Julian Nagelsmann, we don't want to work with Thomas Tuchel. That would have been a complete disaster. Now it's kind of explained because of the inconsistent results in the Bundesliga and a possible disappointment in the dressing room. But as I mentioned, Joshua Kimmich and Leon Goretzka clearly stated, and they are in the leading group of the Bayern team. They've communicated both independently on media that the team was fully behind Julian Nagelsmann and had all trust in Julian Nagelsmann activities.
Usually, Mario, the 1st of April is April Fool's Day. How big does it make this weekend's fixture?
It's obviously, for Bayern, it could be the ultimate Fool's Day, because obviously the fans are completely against this decision, because you see the Bayern fans, they're counting one on one. So they obviously followed Thomas Tuchel, who's obviously been in the media all over the years, all the time. So he left Mainz 05, his first Bundesliga club, because Mainz 05 wasn't good enough, so he went to Borussia Dortmund. That didn't go without noises. Then obviously he was replaced at Borussia Dortmund with huge noises. Then went to PSG, left PSG with huge noises. Went to Chelsea. Obviously, the change of ownership changed his perspective, but he left with huge noises. And there's 95% of the Bayern fans saying he's going to stay with us for 18 months, and then he's going to leave because with huge noise, and it will hurt our club even more. So April 1st, the match against Borussia Dortmund is such a critical game for FC Bayern, for Thomas Tuchel, for Oliver Kahn. Because you see, Hasan Salihamidzic is in power at FC Bayern for 6 years. And Bayern has been always known for consistency on the coaching, consistency on the sidelines. But now Thomas Tuchel is coach number 6 in the 6th year of FC Bayern. And that's really, really, really annoying the fans.
What a breakdown. Mario Leo. Follow him on Twitter at Mario Leo, founder of AdResults T Sport. That's AdResults Sport, live from Germany. Mario, as always, thank you so much indeed. Look forward to our next chat.
Thank you so much for having me, Robert. I wish you a very good evening, and stay healthy and stay safe, and look forward to our next conversation.
Thank you very much indeed. Massive contributor right here on hashtag MSW is Mario Leo. Well, I did say that I was a bit afraid to tell you about what happened on this day in history on the 28th of March, 2021. Well, Sudan defeated Bafana Bafana by 2-0 to qualify for AFCON. Bafana Bafana needed at least a draw to qualify, but the side, led by Molefi Ntseki, simply disappointed the entire nation when they were instead defeated in Omdurman. I really hope it doesn't turn out that way tonight. This is just history. So hope Bafana Bafana make their own history. Positive history this time around. Although they're being held by a goal apiece by Liberia after having taken the initial first goal, the lead. It is half-time right now. Lipasa scored just after 19 minutes. But it's all to play for. It's a win or nothing. Proteas 121 for 5 is how it stands at the Wanderers right now. So highly energized they are. Various international friendlies, qualifiers both on the African continent as well as in Europe, dominating center stage tonight. I wish you a sporting evening indeed, and we'll catch up again tomorrow.
Marawa Sports Worldwide Live on 947 Vuma FM, Rise FM, and Soweto Live. #MSW.
Day with the same energy.